Hey, everybody. It's your old buddy, the Dreamer. Thank you for being here. It is my pleasure to announce my guest, a magnificent, artistic, intelligent, talented guitarist from Texas, Mr. Derek Flores.
I couldn't
How
help
are
it, man.
you,
I
Derek?
couldn't. I couldn't help it. There was such a build-up. I was like, "Don't screw this up," and then I was like,
How are you, Derek?
"I'm great, man. It has been a extremely stressful going into summer, but everything's coming out, man.
Definitely.
And you, man, happy belated. I got to like put on your wall, but it's cool like tell you face to face virtually.
Nothing happens by mistakes,
I completely agree, man.
you know? Oh, wow. Nightbot. Nightbot saying, catch up, man. Subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Be a guest on my show, gmail.com. Hanging with Dreamer. Here's all your Derek's links. Yep, Nightbot's going to keep throwing your links out today.
That's cool.
Yep, help support the channel. Everybody that's watching, we already have a heart right now.
Nice.
Yeah, we already have a heart already. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is my guest Derek Flores. You know me, I'm the Dreamer. And just in case you're watching this for the first time, this is Hanging with the Dreamer.
Yeah, I really get to hang with him.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Say hi in the chat. One question, please, or two. We'll see. I feel
Or
pretty
all
good.
questions.
So probably three. Questions for Derek. So Derek, I was reading your bio, and I was checking out. You've been involved with music for a while now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Since I was like I want to say 17, joined my first touring band, just never stopped.
Yep. Well, what's your favorite? What's your favorite places that you played?
Ooh. That's a
Who?
tough
What are
one.
your most? What are your most memorable gigs that you played so far
I mean,
in your time playing?
they're all. I mean, I like to think they're all memorable, but I remember very few of them. Uh, my favorite place is probably the CNL Ray Theater in McAllen, Texas. Man, it is. It's historical. It was one of the first theaters to host Hispanic and Latin artists, movies, and everything. And it's still standing, and it's owned by my really good friend Bert Guetta. It's still there. It's my home away from home. When I was doing comedy, they allowed me to just do open mics and hang out. And I was doing music. They booked me every time. They've treated me like family. It's my favorite place in the world. Another favorite place is probably Booby's Brewery in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Just I'm a big history buff, and it was one. It's probably one of the oldest pubs. I think it's like during. I think it was built during the Prohibition era, and it was used as both a speakeasy and kind of an underground way to sneak out alcohol. And me being the history buff, I was like looking around, like this is amazing. Got to go down to the catacombs before the show started. They gave us a tour of it. I was like, this is the coolest place ever. So
Tour,
Lancaster and McAllen.
tour of the catacombs.
It was so cool, man.
Wow. I
I have a
I
funny story about that actually. I was getting drunk at the bar and I met this just random dude and he's talking about how he's having like a rehearsal dinner in the catacombs. So me being as I was just wasted, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go down there. And I made a speech at this dude's rehearsal wedding that I met only 12 seconds ago. And I tried adding him on Facebook. I couldn't find him, which is a bummer.
you went down there.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd love to do that.
There's video of it somewhere. So if I'm trying to track down the video of me drunk giving a speech at a stranger's rehearsal dinner.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So, what is your definitely a time that you're going to remember for a long time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. They kind of reminds me of some journeys I've had in my life, but I've never been to those catacombs.
Dude, I
Uh,
recommend it. It's great.
I've been to a few, but not that. Not that.
Really?
Yeah, I spent some time in Europe.
No way. What's that like?
Well, I'll tell you what. The I'm Scottish by descent.
Okay.
18th century Scottish royalty, King William the
Wow.
Fourth. You're a
No way.
history buff. Check it out.
Yeah.
And at the turn of the century, and this is the king that led the charge on England, and
No way.
yeah, overthrew England, man. So
Wow.
I went back to Europe, went around Germany, Switzerland, Austria, um, Italy, Rome, Italy. That was the trip. And Paris, France,
Oh,
which is
so it was
where,
the French catacombs then.
yeah,
Oh, that's so. I've always wanted to see that. That's on my bucket list.
it's freaky.
I would
You,
imagine, yeah.
you have to really want to do this.
Wow.
And I also saw catacombs at an old church in Inverness, Scotland. Actually, that was the day that was the last stop on my tour of Europe.
Wow.
Leaving my homeland was the last stop because I wanted memory to be fresh.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So me and my sister went to Loch Ness, and let me tell you, it's a time that it's a time the land that time forgot, and
Wow.
you watching it on video, any video you pull up on YouTube or all over the internet, no, you got to go there.
Man, I
You got to
will.
walk down. You got to walk down to the banks of the water.
Oh.
And yeah, you got to take it. Be right there. It's magic. The whole place. My sister and I, after a long night of drinking at the Inverness pub,
It's the Scottish in you. It's the Scotsman in you.
yeah, and at the Inverness pub, right, with the owner, me and him. The place was empty, and it was storm. There was a storm outside, so I stayed inside. And me and him were just drinking, doing shots and drinking um, English ale and everything, Scottish ale. And he was telling me, he said, if you go up to the Loch Ness, be ready. I said, ready for what? Be ready. I'm like, okay,
That's so foreboding.
I'm ready. I made it back across Inverness Bridge to the hotel, made it up to my room, fell in the bed. Next thing I know, I get a kick at the door. It's my sister saying, I told you don't stay out all night. Come on, let's go. And I'm like, so I got up and put my shoes on out in the car. And off we took. It was a storm going on. It was pouring. And there we went up the highlands, man. This pouring storm, man. And she was too excited to be there, so didn't say
Yeah.
much. And we got there, sky was black, and mist was over the water, but it stopped raining, and there was no wind at all.
That's so
It
creepy.
was dead. It was dead. The atmosphere was dead. And she went up in your car tower. I went down to the water. Now, keep in mind, I've been up drinking all night
Uh
with the
huh.
owner of the Inverness pub. So I needed to get some water in my face. I got down on my hands and my knees, started washing off my hands with the waters and Loch Ness, right?
Wow.
Washing off my hands and my arms. I stuck my head under the water. And when I stuck my head under the water, off in the distance, I heard, "Ugh." I flipped my head, I flipped my head out and the sun was out. The birds were singing and there was a slight breeze in the air. The place is magic. Magic abounds in Inverness, Scotland.
Wow.
And I know I did some research. I was like, what's going on, man? Well, I knew, but I was like, this is crazy, thinking nobody's gonna believe us. Nobody's gonna believe me when I say, "Oh wow,
Nessie.
we got some people watching right now." Nobody is gonna believe when I share this story. When I left, came back to the States, right? Our trip was over with. 2 weeks later, I was reading in Circus magazine that Jimmy Page, one of my personal heroes,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, I mean, you were here at the house and you looked around my studio, you would see when I say that. But James Patrick Page bought Inverness Castle.
No way.
Inverness Castle. He also bought a house down on the southern shores of the loch, Boleskine House. He owned those too.
That's so wild, man.
And it made me think, right? It made me think. Then it dawned on me that while I was in Inverness pub drinking all night in a thunderstorm, that the pub owner of Inverness pub also told me, said, you can't go up there. Huh?
Oh.
Oh, where? You can't go to the castle, the road's closed. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about that big giant structure on the hillside with that's black with purple light shining up on it? And he goes, yeah. I said, why? I can't tell you. I said, okay, cool. Cool, man. I'm here to go Loch Ness and research my bloodline anyway. That's cool. I'm not gonna mess with the place. So not why I came here. So which is why the shop owner, the pub owner rather, excuse me, the pub owner felt so comfortable and telling me all this, give me all this like information that he told me he tells very little people because he
Wow.
knows that I'm true and he knows that I came because I my bloodline.
Of
And he
course.
knows that. So when I was reading Circus magazine and read that Jimmy Page bought Inverness Castle and Boleskine down the southern shores of the loch off the town of Flores and the Boleskine Cemetery, My next thought was when? 2 weeks ago. While I was there, shortly before I arrived, Jimmy Page bought Inverness Castle and he closed the road, and the place was black, and purple lights were shining up on it because Jimmy Page owned it, and I didn't know that.
Did you trespass onto Jimmy Page's property?
No,
Oh, that would have been cool.
no,
It's still cool.
that's awesome. Right? I'll remember this till the day I die.
I would imagine.
Oh, we got another heart. Hey, thanks, streamers. Let's see who's in the chat. I want to talk to Derek about music.
I know nothing about music.
You know nothing
I
about
don't.
music. He says, I know nothing about music. Well, since that's the case, wow, we have people watching, man. So, hi, dreamers. Let's get the show
What's up, guys?
started. Let's get the show started. So, my first question is, Derek Flores, did you ever think that you would ever become a professional musician?
Yes. From the day I decided that I was going to, I knew I was going to, and it was never a matter of how or even when. It was just a matter of, well, what day am I going to just start doing it?
Hmm.
I just always knew from the first time I picked up a guitar. I just knew this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, nothing else.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Was there an artist? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly fine, man.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, as an artist, is there another musician, another band, another artist that inspires you or that has a great impact on you
Ooh,
on your musical journey?
dude, all of them, all of them, all of them from my friends to Jimmy Page to the guys from Aerosmith, Iron Maiden, my favorite band, the Beatles. I mean, they kind of started it all in a way. So I mean, everything I hear in some way inspires me. Like even if I go see like a cover band at a bar, and let's say the guitarist is better than me, I'm there watching like, okay, that guy's really good. How can I learn from him and what he's doing? Or if I do something and or yeah, like if I'm doing something, I'm like, okay, I'm technically proficiently better than him, but he or she is doing a thing that I'm not doing. How can I learn from that? So I really just inspired by everything.
Well, upon my research, I found a video. Leave it up to me. I found a video. I'm like, why? And because I found a video, I'm going to play it.
Okay.
And before I play it,
Now I'm curious.
I definitely would like to know the story behind that right
Oh,
there.
that one. Yeah, we were just a couple dudes hanging out, had a couple drinks, little substances, and yeah, they just said, "Hey, grab a guitar and jam with us because we heard you can play guitar and do weird guitar tricks." I was like, "All right, yeah, sure."
That's it.
That was it. Yeah,
Wow. Would you mind if I play this for the
go for it.
viewers?
I actually really like that one.
Check this out, everybody. This is my guest, Derek Flores. Just hanging out, was asked to pick up a guitar. It's just for you, dreamers. because I love you and I appreciate you. This is my guest, Mr. Derek Flores. Enjoy.
That was me attempting to rip off Michelangelo Badio. Actually, the dude who plays drums in that video can actually play guitar and drums at the same time.
That's at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. He's figured out a way to hold the pick and the guitar at the same time. And if he needs to hit like a crash cymbal, he has this thing set up to where he creates like a pedal with foot that hits the crash. Calls it a Gatrum Hero, and you can look it up on Instagram. Gatrum Hero, coolest thing ever. And this, like, he's just insane.
That's cool, man. The way you started that riff out is what caught my eye. And then
Oh.
when you started doing the switch hand,
Yeah, that was me just copying my favorite guitar player. Everything. I mean, I have no problem saying everything I do is a ripoff of somebody else who inspired me. So if somebody was like, "Oh, you're a wannabe Michelangelo Badio," I'm like, "Yes, thank you. Someone gets it. Of course I am. That's not a secret."
no, I don't see it like that. What I see is a guy who has a talent to be able to pull something like that on. Because you gotta have the guitar at the right angle. You gotta have it in the right position on the
Yeah, yeah,
body. And your left hand needs to be free to be
yeah,
able to take, you know what I mean? To
yeah.
be able to take your hand and do that. That's cool, man.
Thanks, man.
That's
I really appreciate it.
that's good. So we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic, right?
Hmm.
Whatever. So
It's a pandemic, but whatever.
there's always something. Now it's a freaking pandemic.
Hmm.
So what are your plans? What are your goals for the rest of 2021 and because of this pandemic, 2022?
Okay. Well,
What
I mean,
can the people expect from Derek Flores?
well, honestly, I really spent this time just kind of honing my own craft at this point. I cleaned up a lot, guitar wise, vocal wise. I opened up my own studio that I'm still kind of toying around with before I open it up to everyone else. I've been helping other artists write. I took the big plunge and decided to be fully self-employed. I just a couple weeks ago I decided I'm never working for anybody else ever again. I just can't do it. I'm just going to chase this thing, and it's been going a lot better than I thought it would.
That's the thing. It can, and I'm going to bookmark that because there's something I wanted to say about chasing your vision, chasing your thing.
Yeah, the
Can
thing that
everybody
what's
can
that?
ev- can everybody in the chat please do me a favor and Derek a favor also to take and test out the commands that I put at the beginning of the chat. It'll really help the show, the flow of the show. But I put a whole bunch of commands. Start with an exclamation mark. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much for your help, everybody, and thank you for being here. So, going on about chasing your chasing your dreams, chasing your what you're passionate about. The thing that I think scares most people is that they realize that it's a million to one shot.
I'm gonna be honest. I really don't think it is. I think everybody can do it if they decide they want to. I don't think it's a million and one thing. I think it's a matter of just working hard enough. If you put in all like 15 years, you're gonna be a doctor. You know, if you put in the work, you can be a doctor. If you put in the work, you can be a musician. It's not. Everyone says like, oh, it doesn't happen to everybody. I'm like, well, yeah, because not everybody's doing it, but enough people have done it for us to prove that it is possible.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll say this: since I decided to only do this full time, I've worked way harder than I did when I was working for someone else, and I sleep less. I have less free time. I'm more exhausted than I ever was. I'm on my computer more, booking dates, putting in expense reports, etc. Because there is a business side of it, but I mean, even when there's some weeks that just aren't going well and I feel like it's like coming apart and failing, I'm still doing it for me and it's what I love doing and I know that because of that it's going to work out.
You see, there it is right there. A long time ago, I met an old man much wiser than myself, and he told me this. He told me whatever the mind of William Starr Dunham can believe, can conceive, can think of and believe in what I'm thinking about, what my mind's about, and believe in that, I will become a self fulfilled prophecy
Exactly.
and I will achieve it. Several years down the road, I started to see as soon as I got that mindset in my head, right? It took a couple years, life to pick up momentum. Then I started seeing little things, you know, from going to school, getting 4 degrees, and thinking that I'm tired
Oh yeah. There's a
of
lot of
working
that.
with for somebody else, and I'm coming home mad. I'm coming home fed up. I'm not enjoying anything. It's impossible to enjoy somewhere you're miserable,
Mhm.
you know. And I'm coming home, and the only thing I noticed that made me happy was my 2 days off a week. I was trying to develop this right here through countless hours, through excruciating, mind numbing frustrations because I don't know how I'm going to do this. No, people say they want to help, they don't. I'm doing all the work myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to learn how to be a graphic designer from scratch. I
Oh
got
yeah.
to teach myself. That's where my schooling came into practice.
Oh wow.
So I at home hours, everybody be asleep. I'd be on the computer, Premiere Pro, learning how to do graphics. Then 2.5 years later, I have over 150 shows behind me, I have two shows now. Hanging with the Dreamer, this show right here. And hi, everybody watching. Please say hi in the chat. I love to
What's up,
meet you.
guys?
And I also have a second show. 2.5 years later, I have not one but two shows. My
Wow.
second show is a dreaming guitarist show, and that's for musicians once a month to come hang out and have a roundtable discussion about guitars and about gear.
Uh
I'm
huh.
getting ready to schedule my third one. Okay, it gets better because of this, because I believe in myself, and because I pursue my vision, which everything, I'm a visionary creator. Everything comes to me while I'm sleeping. Because I pursue it, I've been written up 3 months in a row in the high and featured in the high voltage video magazine. So that's what I wanted to share with you. If you believe it, if you conceive it, you can achieve it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. So back to you, Derek. That's what today's about, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
Huh?
nothing. Just got a brain fart.
Okay. Um. So tell me, gear wise, man, what are you rocking? What are you playing? What's
Gear
your
wise, okay. Well, that
what's
one
your
right now. Who goes first? Okay. Well, gear wise, honestly, I am obsessed with soft guitars. Like it's this weird company. It came completely out of nowhere, and I just saw that Michelangelo Badio, again, name dropping that one again, was like talking about these guitars, and they were kind of, I don't want to say cheap guitars because cheap implies that they're not worth not worth anything, but they're really affordable. The quality control is amazing. Even like the crazy thing is, even the screws in the guitars are like aligned with each other and perfectly symmetrical with the guitar. Like, and I know it sounds like a commercial. They're not paid me anything, but they're great. I'm rocking the Sawtooth M24, and everything else. I'm just running through amp sims from a Scarlett Focusrite 2i2 third generation into Logic Pro X. With with the pandemic not being able to go out, I found a lot it's a lot easier just to plug into your computer, record from there, and go on.
yeah yeah
Rocking some Ibanez basses, Ibanez guitars. I am the biggest Ibanez fanboy there is. Like, I love them. To me they can do no wrong.
Well, if you get a chance, and if you like Les Paul style guitars,
I do.
single cuts, check out allinOneGuitars.com.
Ooh.
AllinOneGuitars.com. I'm going to schedule the next streaming guitarist show next week. And if you would like, I'll send you a link
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah,
because it'll be at the end of the month,
yeah.
like the last week of the month. And on that show, I show my guitars. I show, you
Ooh.
know, talk about gear and that type of thing. I'd like to invite you to come and be a part of this
Dude,
next
I would
weekend.
love to. That'd be awesome.
You know, so music wise, what would you like to do? What would you like to achieve
Ooh.
music wise? What is to you? What's the ultimate level of creation as an artist, as a musician that you would like to achieve?
I used to think what I wanted to achieve was writing songs that make people feel things and stop and pay attention. And I told that to somebody, and they said, "Why not songs that people just put in the background?" And I was like, "What?" So she starts explaining, like, yeah, no, nobody cares more about the music that people carry with them forever are the songs that they put on in the background when they're not doing anything. And for some reason, as weird as it sounded at the time, that's the thing that stuck with me. I remember from there, I was like, I just want to make music that people get dressed to and then don't even pay attention. Or they're out near the pool with their friends and it's just the background noise because those are the songs that people like that's the ones that stick with them forever.
Yeah.
I used to want to make songs that were extremely complex and crazy time signatures, really fast and difficult to play, but then I just realized like, well, at that point I'm just making things to show off. It's not I'm not expressing a part of myself anymore. So I kind of got away from that whole thing.
Well, the next question I have then, since that's where your focus is, who are the companies that if you had a chance, Derek, who are the companies that you would like to most work with?
Oh, Ibanez. Ever since I bought my first Ibanez guitar, I think I was on my 16th birthday. I want to say 16th, and it was like the beginning one. And I remember just thinking like, man, this thing's perfect. And to this day, I've had many guitars, higher end brands, lower end brands, mid brands. Ibanez is always the one brand that is perfect and set up to go right out of the box.
Okay.
So no questions asked, Ibanez.
No question about it.
One day it's gonna happen.
I believe it will. As a matter of fact, not only do I see that happening for you, but I also see you're going to discover a new, a new, um, a new conscience, a new higher level of conscience that's going to lead you to a new world of creativity that
I hope
perhaps you've
so.
never seen before. I see that. I see that in your future. And
Thanks, man.
I also see that after this pandemic's over with, you are definitely going to achieve some great things
I hope
because
so.
people are going to give up, people are going to walk away. I already know somebody, God bless him, that he just said he didn't want to do it anymore. So he, go to school, get a degree to work in his dad's for his dad's company.
I actually have a very similar story. For a while, I was like, well, I was signed to this one record label, and then at the time, I was just a bass player, and I wasn't even like one of the. It's hard to explain. Like I was like the background guy, basically. So my band had a record deal. We got dropped after like this really weird conference our management, and I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna go to school and then be an attorney and then start a law firm with my uncle, and then it became this whole thing like, yeah, that's what you're going to do, that be your future. And as time went on, I was like, this sucks, I hate this. So the pandemic started, slowing down, things got open again, and I was like, okay, well, I want to form a new band. I'll play guitar instead of bass this time. I'll find a singer, I'll find a drummer. But I was just dying to just get on stage because it's like a drug. Once you're on stage, you can't stop doing it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play like this open mic gig just to kind of hang out. I've never sung for a crowd before. I've never done any of that before. So I started doing it. I was like, all right, that was kind of addicting. I did horrible, but that was addicting. I kept doing it over and over. And after every one, they're like, hey, can you do a 5 song set of originals at this place? Okay. Then they're like, hey, I'm doing another set in Austin next week. I'm doing another set here. So it just spiraled out of control. And after every gig, I was like, this is the last gig. Then I'm gonna find a real singer and make a real band. And then it just spiraled way out of control. And now I'm hanging out with you.
That's the way it works.
All because I decided I really don't want to be a lawyer.
It's a commitment,
It is.
and you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to know in your mind,
Oh yeah.
just like I did when I was at Loch Ness, and afterwards, couple weeks after, 2 weeks afterwards, you and developing everything here now in Dreamland Studios, I just accepted the fact that now's the time.
Oh yeah. There's a Steve Jobs quote that always kept me going. It was well, it was this whole speech he gave. It was like, I got lucky. I figured out what I wanted to do very early, and I was like, nice. Well, so did I. Okay. And then there's the other one of realizing you are going to die is the thing that will uh, prevent you from falling into something. I don't remember it verbatim, but it was. But what I do remember is the quote. When I wake up, I ask myself, if today were my last day, would I want to do what I'm going to do today? And when the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I have to change something. It's like I worked at this like one restaurant for like maybe 3 weeks, less than a month, and every day they kept repeating. And after a week, it felt like it wasn't just repeating, but screaming it. So I was like, yeah, I'm like, what? No backup plan, nothing. Didn't have a lot going for me to begin with. I was like, well, I'm already broke. I can't get broker. So I was like, screw it. Do this again. Pick up the guitar again for the 80th time.
Yeah. Well, tell you, been there and done that, and
Yeah.
I know that you gotta love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's gotta be part of your soul, part
Oh,
of
yeah.
who you are, and embrace it. And when
Oh,
you
yeah.
try to share that with people, in the hopes that maybe they might take a look at themselves in the mirror and maybe, hey, wait a minute, and start thinking to themselves, do I have something to offer?
Yeah.
And they don't accept that, fine.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's all good. It's all good. You
It
know,
What bums me out though is when people say, when I was younger, I wanted to be a musician. I thought maybe I could be an actress or an actor or something. I'm like, well, why didn't you do it? That stuff doesn't happen for people. I'm like, yeah, it does. It happens for a lot of people. You just have to want it bad enough. The thing is though, you do have to want it as much as you like need to breathe.
become a self fulfilled prophecy.
Exactly.
It's possible.
Exactly. Or when people say, uh, I wanted to, but everybody kept saying it wasn't possible and it discouraged me. I'm like, well, then you really didn't want it. You didn't want to do it then. Because the more people tell me, no, it's not possible, it's not a thing people do, the more I'm like, all right, well, now I can just jump at it even harder. But
Mitch
you're tired.
Hartman said, put your guitar down, take a break, then pick it back up.
I've
Hey,
tried. I've
what's
tried.
going
After
on,
like
dude?
2 minutes, I'm picking it back up.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for
Hi,
being here.
Mitch.
Mitch Harmon. He's a good dude. Thanks for being
He
here,
seems
Mitch.
like it.
So, do you prefer being a solo artist, or
No.
do you want to be part of a band, part of the group decisions, a democracy?
Yeah, I mean, because deep down, I feel like everyone wanted to be part of the Beatles, where it was four dudes who we're all buddies. You made music together. You know, you wanted to believe their life was actually a hard day's night, and that's really what I want. The thing is, it's hard to find the same people with the same drive. So it's really just like I'm really it's tough, and that's what it's like. I had to become a solo artist out of necessity. It's like I wanted to do it so badly, but nobody else did, so I had to force myself to do it. Because if I mean, I never wanted to be the guy at the front of the stage, or the one doing the interviews, or the one speaking or doing the frontman stuff. I just wanted to play guitar. But then as I started doing it and learning on the road, because I had to learn, you know, on the spot how to entertain a crowd, how to talk to a crowd, and even how to sing. The more I did, the more I was like, okay, well, this is a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be. But still, deep down, I still want to be in the Beatles.
Yeah. So do you? Well, real quickly. Thanks, Mitch, for your comment. I appreciate it. Mitch Aim and everybody. So, what is your favorite way to go about writing guitar parts?
Ooh,
What's your favorite key? What's your favorite mode?
that's a tough.
What's your
I
favorite
don't I don't have a
world?
favorite. I really just I don't have a favorite. It's more whatever works with what is presented to me. For example,
Thanks, Mitch.
if a beat is at a certain tempo, I go, okay, well that sounds like it would be a little bit heavier. If I'm tuned to okay, here's an example. If the beat is a it sounds like it could be a heavier beat and I'm tuned to standard, it's a little more difficult to get lower notes. So I'm going to play in the lower register closer to F and then go from there while still trying to maintain something. If it's something if the tempo is a little more upbeat, I'll go somewhere in B minor. It really depends. Sometimes I'm just in a weird mood and I switch keys all over the place.
Hmm.
So it's hard to I don't have a favorite. I just love playing guitar.
Well, I had somebody on this show this past Tuesday that wrote an entire progression, wrote an entire song off of one chord.
Oh, yeah.
And he played it for me.
No
And
way.
I was just, I smiled because I'm watching. This is what creation is all about. Just
Yeah.
like when, just like when I was watching your video. Let's see, Mitch, I just want to see at the age of 65 if I can get better. I play at home in my guitar room, a few YouTube collaborations here and there.
That's awesome. I
I
mean,
sh-
and
I I should
yeah,
be
and
saying the same thing, Mitch.
no, but luckily we live in a time where you can get better and collaborate with a bunch of people from the comfort of your bedroom. Like we really live in the greatest time for creators. If you're a creator or anyone who does anything, this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I like to think I'm a better guitar player today than I was yesterday. And
yeah.
so, yeah, at 65, you can have all yeah, it is all fun. It's great. Yeah, at 65, you got all the time in the world to be better. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to remember, I think it was who was it? What not Robert Johnson, it was it I can't remember who it was. Like he didn't really become a guitar legend until his close to his 70s. I don't think it was
Robert
so
Johnson.
I know I don't think it was him. I know he was a little younger. It was someone else. John Mayer had mentioned it, so I can't
Muddy
remember who.
Waters.
I think it may have been. For the life of me, I can't remember. I just know that there was someone who really didn't get their guitar stardom until like close to their 70s. So 65 is the perfect age.
Buddy Guy.
I think it may have been actually. I think it
Because
may have been Buddy Guy.
the reason why I said that, because I've seen Buddy Guy live.
No
And
way.
yeah, it was just him by himself. and he
Oh,
just came walking down the stage. There was a chair. There was two um, Tolex, tweed Tolex Fender twins. They had custom built, one on each side of them. Two microphones. Has is polka dotted Strat. All polka dots. He sat down right in the middle of the stage. No other musicians. No big show. Nothing. And he just
wow.
put his hat down like that, started tapping his foot, and then just started ripping. And I was just like, yeah, that's how you do it.
Wow.
Keep in mind, this is at the Rose Bowl, the Rolling Stones Voodoo Lounge tour. The Red Hot
Wow.
Chili Peppers went on after Buddy Guy. The place was packed.
I would imagine, yeah.
And their Buddy Guy, boy, just by himself, just stomping his right foot on the stage. Kung, kung, kung.
That's so
Even
cool.
time. And he's just ripping, man. And the place was quiet. The place was quiet.
Wow.
He was hypnotizing everybody. It was beautiful.
I
And
I
then,
would imagine so.
he he got done. He left. There's a big switch out.
Hmm.
Down came the Tarps. Down came, the Chili Pepper set, full headlining set. And then they started, and, just the massive show, rock
Oh
show.
yeah, yeah,
All the
yeah, and
Stones set was behind that. And their Voodoo Lounge set, they had big scaffolding with ladders that Mick could climb, and
yeah.
it was just big, massive bunch of voodoo like tapestries everywhere. And yeah, it was pretty cool. But the Stones were great. They were fantastic. But
Yeah, they're the Rolling Stones.
that just goes to show you, don't kid yourself. Don't ever think that you by yourself can't make an impact. Because I watched the blues legend do it,
Wow.
and he made the whole packed Rose Bowl. You could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet. He was hypnotizing and spellbounding everybody,
Wow.
including me. I was just like, I don't believe I'm looking at this. You know, all the energy and stuff didn't come back till the Chili Peppers went on. Then, right, I was raging, but and the Stones, but yeah, top Buddy Guy, God bless him, he's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I brought that up is because a story that you were talking about
Which
that
one?
really made me think of that. That you're talking about blues legend you heard about.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
So I'd like to ask you, if I may, real quick,
yeah.
about TikTok.
Oh okay.
Is TikTok doing good for you?
It's not. It is and isn't. See, with my biggest problem is I'm a perfectionist. So if TikTok is cool because I can just make like a 1 minute video, put it out, and in theory, you can make one every day and continue getting, creating hype, creating momentum, etc. I'm a perfectionist. I like to record everything into Logic Pro first, mime it, put it out, edit it. But if it doesn't sound just how I want it, it's not coming out.
Hmm.
But I can find like the most minuscule thing, like just something that's seemingly minor, and be like, all right, I need to work on this for another week now. So it's been good for for keeping momentum, for creating connections and finding people who enjoy what I'm doing. But it's also tough because you have to be faster, and we're in major, you have to do things so quickly.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, that's not my style. So, also, it's a little bit of a younger demographic, and I don't, and personally, I don't. It's like okay, they don't want guitar shredding, fine, but then they do like when I shred, then they don't. Then sometimes I'm just making TikToks of me opening a mystery bag of socks, and that gets 1,000 likes, and me playing guitar gets like 70. I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on at all.
Yeah, I've seen bizarre stuff like that.
Yeah, it's. But I will say I do have fun making it. I have more fun making it than putting it out. That if it gets 3 likes and 2 views, I'm still happy.
So, where can everybody go to find your music, find your merchandise, check you
Unfortunately,
out?
unfortunately, there's nothing right now. Which is so weird. Someone asked me, "How are you building this much momentum with no music out?" Truthfully, I have no idea. I just gotten really lucky. All the music that I'm releasing very soon is still there's all this red tape with it. There's all this things going on. I was able to sign to a management who when I sent them what I was working on, like, no, we can easily get you like signed to a good label. Like this is gonna happen. You're set. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
But there's certain things I'm not allowed to talk about that have delayed me putting anything out. And then again with the entire things have to move faster. It's okay. Record 5 songs, mixed, mastered, have them done, create a promo, and then we'll put out the first thing you worked on. That way we have more to. And I know nobody wants to hear the business side of it, and it kills the fantasy, but I don't care.
Mitch said Derek Flores,
Thanks, man.
a very good shredder.
Thanks, man.
What
Appreciate
I
it.
tell you, I know when I spot something that I just know, and you know what, that says it right there. You have you're making an impact right now.
That actually means a lot, man. Thanks, Mitch. You're the greatest.
You know, you don't stop.
No, I'm never gonna stop. I don't care if I never make it, never sign to a label ever again. I'll play to like 2 people. I don't care. Dude, I try to give up too.
I gave up on trying to shred.
Oh, I gave up 1,000 times.
Yeah, don't give up, Mitch. Don't stop.
You'll
Don't
give up for
do it.
like a day, and then you're back at it. Not even
You
a
know.
full day either, like 30 minutes.
So, are you a plug direct into amp guy, or what pedals, what effects you like to use live or not?
I am I have taken advantage of the fact that we are able to play big rooms with a cheap interface, a good program on your computer, into a cab.
Doing the 9 inch nails approach.
I don't want to do it that way. It's just more since this now is like my
If it works,
livelihood, I have to like cut cost.
it works. It works.
It works, but it's not ideal.
Actually, if I could shred on one string, I can do that. Well,
The over under thing is just that. For example, let's say you're gonna hit on the high E string, G, A, and F. So all
mhm,
you're doing is G, A, F, G, A, F. So since the A is the root of the A minor, you're technically still in the key, so it's just G, A, F over and over, and you just pick up speed so it looks cooler than it really is. It looks harder than it is, but the one string thing, just follow that, and it's just that over and over.
Mitch is saying he's trying to learn about theory. Now, like what's behind making chords and scales.
Same, same. I honestly like the I know like most basic theory. I just say it so confidently that people think I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. Like the last thing with the GAFs, there's probably someone going, "That guy's an idiot. Here's why he's wrong." But I admit it.
Become a self fulfilled prophecy.
Always.
It all starts with one note.
It does.
Yeah. That one note will sound right going to the next note, or
Mm-hmm.
you'll be off a half a step either way, and then you'll go, okay, now this sounds pretty unusual. Does it sound right? So then you learn five notes. One, two, three, four up on the next string, five, slide up a step.
Yeah.
But then you will always remember that half note that jumped out that didn't quite fit. And then do your do your five notes, and then you start finding out you put that half note back in the
Yeah.
five-note run and switch up the series of the notes. All of a sudden, you've got something that sounds pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's exactly the process. Because you're like, no, that note didn't work. So then you start playing another note, like, maybe the first one did work. Exactly how it is.
If it works, it works, man.
I used to do that when I was younger, and my younger brother would be like, "You suck. Stop playing. This is horrible." I was like, "Fuck you. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm the greatest." He's like, "No, turn it off." No.
Face it, anything sounds great if you just got your right hand going on an open
Yep.
string,
Yep.
play your first note, keep the trills going, second note, do that run, and then throw in that wrong half note. And all of a sudden, you're like all over the place going, and all of a sudden,
Oh
you're
yeah.
looking at yourself, 3 months later, you're
Oh
like
yeah.
going, wow, did I just play that? And
Yeah.
then the realization hit you that, wait a minute, I think I might be able to do this. And then that's when everything starts changing. At
Oh yeah.
least for me, that's the way it was
No,
anyway.
same. Absolutely.
If you could have an amp, would you prefer a Boss Katana or Positive Grid Spark, a 50 watt?
I'm I'm a huge fan of Black Star amps. I used to have one, and then I got rid of it to cut costs on the road.
Mm.
But I love those Black Star amps. Put them into a good Marshall. The Marshall cabs and Black Star heads are this weird combination you didn't know would work.
Mm.
It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I've never thought of these two together. Then you put them together, especially with like, I even Celestian greenbacks. You're just like, wow, this oddly enough works perfect together. And the thing with Black Star is they're so good at being able to make amps that are very, how do I explain it? It's very easy to shape the tone with Black Star. Their cleans are very clean. Their distorted gainy is just right. I love those amps. Those are my go-tos.
Well, right now, since I'm waiting on my Theta Pro to come back, can't wait to get that again.
Ooh.
I'm just running straight into my mixer to my DAW.
Uh,
It's just pristine. But um, I'm actually gonna run it out of my Boss Katana that I've got sitting over here,
Ooh, yeah.
and I'm gonna hook it up for a cable method, and I'm gonna keep the Boss Katana clean. Or I might bypass the preamp circuit altogether and just use the Boss Katana speaker. I think
It's
that
not a
would
bad
really,
idea.
I think that really freaked people out because people go,
Yeah.
that Boss Katana is awesome. That's the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Mitch is saying I have a Boss Katana 100 I never use.
Use it. They're awesome. So underrated.
Black Star, are you a very big fan as a professional musician? Are you a very big fan of Friedman amps?
Friedman. I haven't. I've never used one. I've never even tried one out. I've heard good things, but just aside from reviews and hearing from word of mouth, that's where my knowledge begins and ends on Friedman amps.
Well, if you like gain pedals and if you like that organic, uh, hit uh, E minor, A minor, D minor, F sharp minor progression, you can hear every note
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
articulate. I found it with Friedman amps before,
Really?
yeah, before I discovered ISP.
Huh.
I I was pretty. I have a whole bunch of Friedman pedals, and I highly recommend them. Let's see. Mitch is saying I use my line 6 Helix floor pretty much at the time.
I've heard that actually right now is giving the neural DSP quad cortex like a run for its reputation altogether. A friend of mine, her boyfriend got one of those, and from what I've heard, he loves it. I saw his review on it, and it was it. I mean, even I was like, damn, I got to get me one of these.
I had a choice. I had an offer to get a Helix or to get the Theta Pro. Well, I've had line 6 before. I've been a line 6 user for years. There's just something about ISP Theta Pro.
Yeah.
It's a tone shaper.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's why I went with that. But I'd like to recommend. Um, I sent you a couple of videos on it
Oh
already,
yeah.
and it's half the price of the Helix.
Yeah. I was so surprised with that.
You know, now the Helix is great, and I got nothing but good things to say about line 6. I've had a line 6 Spider 4, 150-watt head with the 412 matching cab. I've had the line 6 Pod 500 HD. I've had the line 6 Pod um, X2 Live. I I love line 6 Spirit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be raffling off this right here.
Ooh.
Line 6 G10 wireless unit.
I actually have one of those. That like as a raffle, that's insane.
I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to raffle off a couple pedals that I'm not using. But no, guitars, no. But I'm just trying to make some room for upgrading the studio. I've got another wireless unit. I've got the Boss wireless unit, the pedal board wireless unit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's sitting in back of me, and that is what's going on my pedal board. The
So you're
line
like
six,
a big like a what's it called? Like gearhound type dude.
you
Wow.
know, yeah, I'm a pretty big gear now, but who isn't? If you had a chance to work with any promoter without saying anything you shouldn't say, is there any way that you could possibly drop a name of a couple promoters you would like to work with?
It's a tough one because I really there's a lot of promoters I do like. I don't. But the only thing is, I don't know if they're still in business anymore because a lot of the my old band wasn't like on a level to work with huge promoters. But the ones we did work with, the the pandemic really affected them. Probably, there was this one. This one's, oh man, there's so many of them. I want to work with all the ones I've already worked with. I like them all. I still talk to almost all of them every day, even if the show didn't go good. I've also been a promoter, so I know that like there's a million things that can go wrong, and they're gonna go wrong, and it's always the day of. So
Mm-hmm.
because of that, it really made like tour managing and working with promoters a lot easier. So I would want to work with all of them, especially because every promoter has their own distinct style of doing things. Like in a weird way, being a promoter is just as much an art as being a musician. There's different nuances to each one. Like one of the promoters in St. Louis, who I've heard nothing but great things about, has his own way of doing things, where a lot of his marketing is based off of this like weird little rivalry that he's created with this one group, and he's like kind of milked it in a way that's made his promotions like really relevant. And then this other dude I know, he is just kind of his whole thing was he's an honest kind of guy. I love that. He's a great dude. Never got a chance to work with him, but I've never heard anything bad about him. So yeah, it's a tough one.
Now, how far does your music inspiration go back? You were saying that you knew when you in childhood, when you were a child, you knew that this is what you wanted to do with your life. What was that? And you were talking about that heat on that a little earlier, which I thank you very much for doing that. But what was that? Was there a band that
Yeah.
was involved with that pivotal moment in your young life that just looked into your eyes, looked into your heart, looked into your soul,
Oh yeah.
and you just had it just right in your face, and you walked away going, wow.
Yes, it was the very best of Kiss, just from the opening to Strutter, just the when Peter Criss does the doo 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 doo. From that opening, I was like, "The hell's this?" And then I heard all the guitar leads, and I was like, "Wait, hold on. Who's this guy here with the silver?" And I was obsessed after that. From that opening to Strutter by Kiss, I knew like this is what I want to do. That one opening, and then you see the pictures of him, and Ace Frehley was to me looked like the coolest dude ever. Just the way he stood, his facial reactions, his guitar solos. In fact, Ace Frehley's the reason I ever even picked up guitar because all I wanted to do was be Ace Frehley. To
Hmm.
this day, I'll go into weird moods where I'll just play nothing but Kiss for like a month. And I'm actually in that right now. I'm in one of those months where I'm listening to nothing but Kiss. So when you brought it up, I was like, I was just talking about this. So if you noticed me kind of smiling a bit, I was like, I was just talking about this.
Well, this subject,
Yeah. right before this like call, I had that exact conversation.
Interesting.
And Ace Frehley once said, "I may not be the best guitar player ever, but I inspired millions of them." True. Even Dimebag from Pantera said that without Ace Frehley, he would have never picked up guitar. I know like at least four people from high school who said, "Yeah, without Ace Frehley, I would have never picked up guitar."
Yep.
So without him, I would not be sitting here right now.
Well, everybody's got somebody different,
Oh yeah,
and you know what? That's a good one.
yeah.
Ace was a pretty big impact on me also when I was younger.
There was just something about it. Because it was just, and I can go on about this for hours. It was just the whole package. He looked cool. The way he moved on stage was cool. That's what taught me like, oh, when you're on stage, you don't just stand there like you're bored. You have to put on a show. That's what made me go, okay, well, if I'm on stage, I can't just stand there. When you're playing guitar, you have to have, like, just from the way he stands and moves his shoulders, everything about the way he did it was just nailed. He's probably like the Christopher, yes, Ace is king. Ace is king. No disrespect to no disrespect to Tommy Thayer, but you can't replace the spaceman.
yeah, is there really
What's
is.
up, man?
What's going on, Christopher? Thanks for being here. Players, yeah, yeah.
Oh, easily, easily.
Well, it was actually Ace first,
Yeah.
technically. Marcy Douglas
Hey,
is here.
Marcy.
What's going on, Marcy? Welcome. Welcome. Hey, Marcy, do those commands for me, please, in the chat. That'd be cool. I'd like to get. I'd like to get Derek Flores' links out there more. That's that's Marcy cleaning my pool,
Oddly therapeutic.
big time,
Oh yeah.
big time. So I I wanted to see because I've seen little just in that one video. I saw some little nuances that inspired me to want to ask you that question. And you know, and the fact that you were just having a conversation with somebody before even meeting me,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, to be in all fairness, it's like all I talk about. So like it's all I talk about is guitar and music and other guitar players and
Thanks,
stuff like
Marcy.
that. Uh,
Yeah,
But, but yeah, in that video, the it goes back to the everything I do is a ripoff of somebody else, and I'm very proud of that because it makes me feel like my heroes will live forever.
yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. So before I end, I want to ask you two questions. One
Sure.
question is, when can the dreamers in the chat and anybody that's going to watch this on the replay can expect you to come out with some Derek Flores merchandise?
Merchandise. I really can't. I have no clue, but I've just decided. What's today?
Today's Thursday.
The full date is June 11th.
Yeah, June 11th.
I've just decided now. I don't care if my management gets upset. July 7th, I'm putting out a song. It's one I've been working on. It's a cover. It means a lot to me. Management said, let's give it some time. I don't care. July 7th, I'm putting out my debut.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. You've
And
got a
this
bright.
and this is actually the first time I get to say this to anybody, to any crowd. It will not be under my name, it will be under my band name, which I mean the band's pretty much just me and whoever I find anyway, but the band is called Ethan Hawke. I'll put out the cover of Older by Knightley.
There you go, dreamers. Did you hear that? Ethan Hawke. Look it up
It's
and
not spelled
watch
like the
out.
actor.
Watch out and keep your eyes open, keep your ears open for new music. You heard it here from Derek Flores, an exceptional musician
Thanks, man.
from Texas. And I highly recommend Derek Flores to everybody here. And everybody's going to watch this on the replay. Mitch, the Dreamers Live got to run. Will, getting ready for my show. Do it, man. Good luck with your show, Mitch. Thanks
Good
for
luck, Mitch.
thanks for stopping by. Next week, Mitch, hold
Thanks for
on.
stopping by, Mitch. You're the greatest, man.
Before you take off, I'll have stress level red next week. You know about stress level
I do,
red.
yeah.
Well, they'll be on the show next week,
Ooh, I'll be there for that.
and it's going to be awesome.
I'm gonna be
I'm looking
watching that
forward to
one.
it. But I just wanted to have you on today. And is there anything that you would like to say to the dreamers in the chat or anybody who will be watching this on the replay?
Somebody's already done it before. Somebody else can do it. So if anyone says it's impossible, just remember somebody else already did it, so you can too.
That's it. You heard it, dreamers. And I have to agree with that. If you believe it, if you can conceive it and believe in what you're thinking about and focus on it, work hard, put in the time, you will achieve it and you will become a self fulfilled prophecy. See everybody next week. Stress level red. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Me neither.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for
You're,
having me, man. Really appreciate it.
if you have a minute, hang out. And cool, man. Enjoy the outro. Thanks for being here